Good morning and welcome to this last 10 at 10 of 2020. And some of us are pretty excited about the fact that 2020 is almost completely over. And then some of us have actually had a good year. So whether you have had a great year, you've not had a great year, one thing that we can be grateful about and grateful for is that the Lord is with us in whatever situation, whatever season we find ourselves in. Yesterday, we spent some time looking at the love chapter in Corinthians, and now we're going to look at another passage of scripture out of 1 Peter chapter 4. I'm going to read it out of the NIV version, and then we're going to jump over to the Passion Translation. So 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 7 and 8. It says, "The end of all things is near. Therefore be clear-minded and self-controlled so that you can pray. Above all, love each other deeply because love covers over a multitude of sins." We know that word sins in its Greek form means missing the mark. So that means when you tried to do something right, but you just didn't get it right, okay? That would be sin, okay? Now, let's go over to 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 7 and 8 in the Passion Translation. It says, "Since we are approaching the end of all things, be intentional, purposeful, and self-controlled so that you can be given to prayer. Above all, constantly echo God's intense love for one another, for love will be a canopy over a multitude of sins." So let's go ahead and break this passage down a little bit, and let's finish this year looking at the love of God and how to walk in the love of God, okay? So number 1 in verse 7, it tells us, because the time is at end, let's be intentional, okay? So first of all, we can't just live life by accident, just kind of feeling our way through by the bumps or the potholes. Don't go from pothole to pothole. Be intentional about missing the potholes. Then be purposeful. Purpose means that you're not living just kind of randomly, but you have a goal. You have a place you want to be. So live on purpose. And then be self-controlled. Don't live in such a free-for-all that you cannot be given over to prayer. All three of those things were so that we can be given over into prayer. Verse 8, "Above all, constantly echo God's intense love for one another, for love will be a canopy over a multitude of sins." So when it says it'll be a canopy over a multitude of sins, it's going to be like a tent. It's going to be like a house. When we have love, the God's love manifested in our lives, it's like a roof over the rain of problems, the rain of missing the marks, the rain of people's failures. When we have that canopy there, it protects our heart. It protects the relationship we have with someone else. So I just want to encourage you with these scriptures that we can live an intentional life. We can live a good life. We can live a life that has love. We don't have to fall into the cancel culture society of today, where we write people off for whatever they've done. But we can love people through things, and we can love people despite things. Doesn't necessarily mean that we agree with everything they do. Doesn't even necessarily mean that we will always be in fellowship with them. But I can still love someone that I am no longer in fellowship with, because the love of God compels me. That's really a subject for another day. But Have a great 2021. God bless.